I had $1 billion, if I had $1 billion. No, the song is If I Had $1 Million. This song made me start thinking about how would I go about becoming a billionaire and all the different ways that I could make it. So let's think about that. You can play for it. I mean really play for it. This is the richest athlete in the world, Michael Jordan. People who have watched basketball back in the 90s and so would have recognized his character. I watched him play as a college student. That's where I first seen him play. Anyways, he's worth $2.2 billion. Now, the key to playing a world-class sport at a world-class level is you have to have genetics. This man is 6'6". He's incredibly fit, a complete consummate, perfect specimen of a world-class athlete. Whether you're a rugby player or a tennis player or a golfer, whatever, it takes a very long time. So you got to be born with a little bit of genetics to give you that advantage. So this man became a billionaire not simply because he played the sport, because his salary wasn't that big. It's because of all of the advertising, endorsements, etc. So depending on the size of your sport and the amount of audience that watches, you could be making a lot of money if you have it in the genetic stakes. Some of us don't, including myself. This man did, to the tune of $2.2 billion. You don't always have to play sports. It can be singing, strumming a guitar, whatever, something that gets you on the stage and you play in front of a huge audience. They love you, they buy your albums, they buy your merch, and you too can become a billionaire. This person, I have no idea who he is, or I don't even know if this is the right picture of him. This is Jay-Z. I have no clue what his music is. He is worth $2.5 billion. So you may not have the athleticism, but maybe you can carry a note and entertain people like this guy did. So music is another way to play for it, to become a billionaire. You could become an actor and play in front of audiences. This person is a director predominantly. I don't know if he's done much acting. This is George Lucas. He's worth $10 billion, and largely because he owns, I think, Lucasfilms, Star Wars, you can see in the background here. Anyways, acting is another area where you can parlay your wealth, if you're a very good actor that is, into $1 billion. So besides sports and music, how about acting? If you're good at it, you might be able to become a billionaire too. If you're not good at sports or music or acting, how about politics? And I add this into the category of playing for it because, quite honestly, I think most of politics is theater. I think this man here in particular, this is Vladimir Putin. He is the richest politician in the world, worth $70 billion. He started out as a KGB agent. Clearly, his salary did not warrant the value he presently has, the asset value. So somewhere along the line, he parlayed his skills in strategy and whatnot into the political arena, where he was then able to use it to make a lot of money, likely through the kleptocracy in the Russian system of taking over Soviet-era companies and then converting them into a capitalist system and then selling it off or whatever. I don't know what exactly this man did, but I'm sure it's something like that. Anyways, he's worth $70 billion. He's a politician. Now, there are other politicians, and I won't name names, that have made great fortunes clearly from their position of power. They parlay that into a great deal of money, whether it's through insider trading or favors for friends and so on and so forth. But politics is playing too. So if you're able to convince the masses to vote for you, maybe politics is the way you can go to become a billionaire. Though the odds aren't great. There's only 200 odd countries in the world, and you want to become rich off one of them. The numbers are small. Regardless what you choose, whether it be athletics, music, acting, yes, even politics, it takes a great deal of skill, and skill requires a great deal of practice. It doesn't matter what it is. A person who's born into politics is a rare person. Generally speaking, you have to train for hours. And I've done a video some time ago, and I'll give you the link to it here and in the description below and here, for the 10,000 hours rule. Largely, that's what people say you have to do in order to become a great athlete or a great musician or whatever. Someone who's constantly strumming on a guitar over time will eventually become better. Maybe not very good at all, but they'll become better than when they started. And the same is true for a sportsman or a politician or an actor. Anyways, it may take you 10,000 hours to get to this level, but in sports, you're almost always going to have to do that very quickly, because the lifetime of an athlete is very short at the top end. And so by the time you're getting to your 30s, you're too old. And 10,000 hours is 1 year, 1 full year training every hour. So that's a lot of time. So you'd have to really get very good from a very young age. Whereas in acting, you may get better over time. You hope to get better over time. And likewise, with singing, you can carry on playing into your old age. And as you can see, politicians hang around till their 80s. So in sports, less likely to be able to get good enough to make as much money as you'd like. But in the other areas, you can certainly play for $1 billion. Sports, music, acting, politics, it's really about being born with something, an innate skill perhaps, and it really requires more genetics and less practice, although as I've just said, 10,000 hours might make anybody really good if they really work at it. But in the end, most of these people who are world-class athletes or musicians or actors, they have something already. They have an ear for music, or a feel for timing on the stage. Or in politics, they know when to stop talking or start talking, for that matter, and which baby to kiss. So it's really about having something in them. And the least of these is probably politics, but any one of them, you can see, obviously, you can become a billionaire. The odds aren't great, but the most important part about all this is you have to train for it. You have to get better at it, and you want to plan for it. Most of the rich actors and musicians and sports stars and politicians don't make the money from their salaries of the games or things that they do. Rather, it's how they invest the money. And in my next set of videos, I'm going to talk about that, because in the end, it's not about whether you can find the right person to marry that'll make you a billionaire, or steal enough rob from enough banks, or win the lottery tomorrow. It's really about planning. It's really about saying, what do I really have to do? What are my real skill sets? How can I become a billionaire? How can I get there? So make a plan. These people were great athletes, musicians, actors, politicians, and they were able to parlay that into over $1 billion each. And there are many others like them who will probably come close or go beyond it even. But for the average person like us, we have to find a way to plan for it. And I'll be talking about that in the next set of these videos. The GERA Foundation will produce more videos like this. Please like, share, or subscribe if you enjoyed this video.